Welcome, one and all, to the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. I am the reigning, defending Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion, Phil K.O.E. You can find me at koenation on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. And welcome to our top 10 hardcore champions of all time, folks. Yes, right here at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, not only on YouTube, but also on Spotify. Our kingdom grows, folks. But I am the reigning, defending, 10-time Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion. So I thought, who better than to give my thoughts on who are the top 10 hardcore champions of all time. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. First, a few honorable mentions. First, the great Gerald Briscoe. We had to give you just an honorable mention. You barely didn't make the list, but just barely. And also, while two great hardcore champions, they were excluded from the list after some very heated debate back and forth. Big Boss Man and Al Snow did not make the list. Yes, it was because of the Kennel from Hell match. Yes. Wash me in your judgment. Yes. Sorry. That was bad. That was bad. So now let's get right into it. At number 10, we've got an incredible hardcore wrestler, one of the greatest, and he did it right here. He made it to number 10 at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast. Mankind. Yes, Mick Foley, Mrs. Foley's baby boy. He made it all the way to the world title. But before that, he made the hardcore title a real thing. And he willed it into existence, and I figured who better to start this list than the one, the only, Mankind. We all love Mick Foley, and so that is why he is number 10 on our list. Number 9 was someone who really came into his own with the Hardcore Championship the minute he was able to get any kind of momentum under his feet. And that is Bubba Ray Dudley. Yes, one of the true greats of the hardcore division. The minute there was the big split, when they did the brand split, I mean, we were all a little worried. Bubba took it and ran with it. And I think that was the impetus for his Bully Ray character, which came much better. But regardless, it cannot be understated. Bubba Ray Dudley, his time with the Hardcore Championship, makes him number 9 on our list. Number 8, Tommy Dreamer. Yes, Tommy Dreamer was one of the folks who, let's not talk about his gross stint, but when you just talk about his time with the Hardcore Championship, it really did stand out, and it was at least a bit like, as somebody who loved his time in ECW, it felt like, okay, at least he's finally getting some kind of run with the title here. And it was a feel-good run, wasn't it, folks? So that's why number 8, Tommy Dreamer. Number 7, a man who brought intensity, who was always right there. The one, the only, Rhino. Rhino was one of my personal favorites. Another person whose ECW run was just incredible, I must say. And he always had just this amazing intensity. He just always got injured at very poor timing. So, unfortunately, Rhino, he finds himself at number 7 on this list, but an amazing wrestler and one of those folks that when you watch his career, it was really something. Coming in at number 6, we have the one, the only, Steve Blackman. Yes, that guy took a very slim opportunity, and he was known for not having a lot of charisma, and he ran with it, and he really found his own as, who would have thought that a martial arts badass would come into his own in an anything goes division. But yeah, he really showed off some really interesting stuff, and who can forget that feud with Shane McMahon, which Shane McMahon was also an honorable mention, but he just never quite made it there. But Yes, Steve Blackman, you make it to number 6. Coming in at number 5, The Undertaker. Yes, The Undertaker took the hardcore title and sort of made it a project for himself. He just kind of took it upon himself to make sure that the hardcore title was something that you needed to see. And let's be frank, his match with Jeff Hardy for the hardcore title was probably one of the best matches in the history of Raw. I mean, it's up there anyways. Go back and watch it and tell me I'm wrong. So The Undertaker almost kind of willed the legitimacy of the hardcore title into existence. And so for that, he makes it to number 5. At number 4, we have Hardcore Holly. And because it's Hardcore Holly, and in tribute to Hardcore Holly, I am not going to smile during this entry of Hardcore Holly. Now, his time with the belt was undeniable, undisputed, and it was really a good time. Let's never forget his time at WrestleMania when he shattered the jar of candy over Taz's head, and I think there was some chicanery in the finish there. But yes, number 4, Hardcore Holly. Number 3, Mr. Monday Night, the whole effing show, Rob Van Dam. Yes, RVD. He took the hardcore title to new heights, and he was one of the last greats of that championship. Him and Jeff Hardy had some amazing matches. One of the few one-on-one matches that we actually saw on the Invasion show, and it was really something. So yes, number 3 of all hardcore champions of all time, the one, the only, RVD. Number 2 champion of all time in hardcore championship history. I mean, what about this guy? Why didn't he make it to number 1? What about him? What about me? What about Raven? Yes, number 2, Raven. Come on, folks. He was in the hardcore match with Kane and Big Show at WrestleMania 17, and he did a lot of interesting stuff with the title, and he kind of made it a reason to watch Sunday Night Heat for a while. I mean, Raven really found interesting ways to just make his time something you had to see. And so for that, I make him number 2 hardcore champion of all time. And now, folks, we move on to the number 1. And who else was it going to be other than Crash Holly? It was going to be Crash. Who else? The person who initiated the 24/7 rule that made it so, and probably one of the most prolific hardcore champions of all time, folks. Yes, Crash Holly, number 1. May he rest in peace, and may the Hardcore Championship rest in peace, folks. This has been our top 10 hardcore champions of all time, folks. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E. You can find me at K.O.E Nation on YouTube, K.O.E Nation on TikTok, K.O.E Nation on Twitch. This is all very on brand here, folks. And you can find all of us here at the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast on YouTube and Spotify, RevWrest Pod on Twitch and Twitter, folks. Yes, we expand. Oh, do we expand. But folks, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. I am the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast champion, and I hope to find you back here happy, healthy, much the wiser. Be sure to like, share, subscribe right here to Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast and K.O.E Nation on YouTube. God bless. Catch you around, folks.
Here and see if it just smooths itself out.
tell you what I'll do. If I ever get back, I promise to refabricate you, raging rivers of gold. That's what the brochure advertised. And now we're lost, we gotta take it down. Let you down slow, it's hard to survive.
Nice.
El Dorado. Oh, Lord. Well, let's see how that one went.
Yeah.